Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more relationship stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. It really does help out. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now today's first story comes from a throwaway account and says, my 23 female boyfriend's mother, 56 female, keeps putting an ingredient I'm allergic to in her dishes. This has been somewhat of a nightmare, so any advice would be amazing. My boyfriend is also 23 for clarity. I have a garlic allergy. It's not lethal and I definitely wouldn't get anaphylaxis or something from it. The problem is that I get asthma if I eat it and it'll really mess with my digestion later. Everyone in my life knows I can't have garlic and I won't have garlic. It makes eating out a nightmare because of how prevalent it is. So usually my boyfriend and I have date nights at our apartment and we cook for each other. But my boyfriend's mum has a family tradition and she insists we all come to dinner at least once a month. She's a fantastic cook and usually a really nice lady to be around. But there's one problem. She wants me to come every time, but she always adds garlic to every dish. At this point I've just started taking an inhaler and just eating the Hawaiian roll she always serves. My boyfriend drives us and we just get fast food right after. We talk to her over and over again about the garlic. I've asked her over and over to please not use garlic. And she says she doesn't understand how it's such a big deal because it's not like you'll die. I've tried skipping the meals, but she throws a fit and drags her entire family into it. I've been with my boyfriend for 3 years now and I'm best friends with his sister. I'm at my wit's end. How do I get this through to her? ETA. I've brought my own food before, usually something simple like mac and cheese. I did it twice, but both times she was angry and basically made for an incredibly unhappy evening. Now the question is, why? Why is she doing this? She's been told multiple times that you're allergic to it and she just doesn't see the issue with it. So she's not going to accommodate you ever. She won't allow you to take your own food and gets offended by it. Simply don't go. And I'm sort of wondering, what's the boyfriend saying in all this as well? He said it sort of brings on your asthma, which, is really dangerous. She's literally causing you harm and she knows about it. But Eternity Warden says you need to talk to your boyfriend, maybe a sister, though I wouldn't expect that, about sticking up for you. She's not listening to you and she won't listen to an occasional talk, so she needs to remind her every time that, sure, it won't kill you, but being unable to breathe properly will make even the best dinner hard to enjoy. Pushing allergies repeatedly over a long period can and often does make them worse, so it could have serious repercussions down the line. OP says definitely going to talk to my boyfriend and his sister about this. Again, it's just so frustrating. I've had food from her that didn't have garlic and it was fantastic. I just don't understand it. Successful Peanut says I personally have nuts and a coconut allergy. Not anaphylactic, skin rashes and digestive problem. In my teens I was somewhat okay after consuming an allergen, but now my symptoms are heavier. I needed once to go to the hospital because of severe dehydration due to pooping too much. So yeah, don't play games with your allergy just to please your mother-in-law. Bring your own lunch or vocalize to everyone, including her, that she doesn't respect your safety and health, and you cannot accept someone this toxic in charge of your alimentation. You don't know when you will have a bigger reaction, and you don't want to let your mother-in-law run you over. Advocate for yourself. Make your boyfriend on your side. He's supposed to take your side first, not the culinary ego of your mother-in-law. OP says the problem is she just won't listen, honestly. She has this weird mindset of, well, it's not like the kid with a peanut allergy, where you either have anaphylaxis and nearly/do actually die, or it's just something you can brush off like lactose intolerance or something. I've tried bringing my own food, but she freaked out and basically made the entire dinner uncomfortable for everyone. I'm honestly at the point where I'm tempted to just eat some of her food and show how wheezy I get just so she'll understand. 7 Fish Slaps replies to that and says it really shouldn't have to get to the point where you make yourself sick. She probably is one that has to see it to believe it, but you shouldn't have to do that. What if you have kids with this dude and your kids have an allergy? Is she going to feed them something that could harm them? OP says that's a concern of mine too. I'm just at my wit's end because short of her being smacked with a frying pan, I don't understand how she is this dense. She's normally a wonderful woman and very supportive of my boyfriend and I. Just as I can be so cruel, says stop going. OP, I know you want to be a part of the family get together and your boyfriend wants you there, but This woman is ignoring your request. She's not even providing a dish that you aren't allergic to. Has a fit when you bring your own food. She doesn't want you there. If she did, she would have something for you. Stop going. Let your boyfriend say when everyone asks, my girlfriend can't come, she's allergic to garlic, but mother refuses to make a dish that doesn't have it in it, and yells at her when she brings food she can actually eat. Stop going. Nice lady doesn't do that. It's a power play. She could absolutely make a dish that doesn't have garlic, and if she didn't want to, she would allow you to bring a dish for yourself, but she doesn't, because she wants to make a point. Stop going. One more comment from Miss Murderpants who says, OP, you and your boyfriend are underreacting with his mother. It's fucking weird that she keeps making foods with garlic that she and by now everyone in boyfriend's family knows you are allergic to. You tell her first name, why are you being so weird about this? It's been weeks and months and yet you still keep trying to get me to eat garlic. Why are you trying to poison me? Because she is. Stop going, because it makes me think she doesn't want you around. OP updates the post and says, to those of you who said she just didn't like me, you were 100% correct. After my boyfriend woke up yesterday, we had a long talk about how bothersome his mother's refusal to take out garlic is. He agreed that we should skip the dinner until she takes it out. Something about it still bothered me, so I ended up calling her and just bluntly asking her. She kept evading the question, saying she's just a garlic lover, that she doesn't understand what the big deal is, etc, etc. Finally, after like 30 minutes of back and forth, she finally admitted that she just doesn't like me. I think I'm correct in drawing the conclusion that she was trying to drive me from her family with garlic shenanigans, but maybe I'm just overthinking. I don't know. Anyways, I asked if it was because of my job, receptionist, my age, background, whatever, and she just flat out told me that she doesn't like I have my septum and tongue done, and that I colour my hair unnatural colours. She thinks it's unprofessional and proves that I'm too much of a wild child to date her son. Which sucks because I really like this woman, but I guess she was just polite out of courtesy rather than actually liking me herself. After I ended the call, I went to my boyfriend and he basically fessed up and said that yeah, his mother was not a fan and basically kept hinting that we should break up. Mostly by mentioning stuff like, my friend Jenny has such a cute daughter, and that sort of thing. Which hurts like hell, but I'm glad I know. Anyways, my boyfriend and his sister have both agreed to just start up a group dinner once a month. I'm going to stop going to the dinners and my boyfriend will just go without me. Update, I can officially say I've gotten the ick. This man sucks. Update 2, I'm going to break up with him tomorrow. I'm too sleepy and pissed, but I'll post an update on my profile. Which OP comes in with the title, We Did Break Up. Hi, me again. I broke up with him and basically spent the day fielding texts from him asking what the fuck was going on and why I was freaking out over his mum. As I said in the update, I got the ick. The more I thought about how he didn't defend me to his mother, refused to tell me about her underhanded tactics, the more I just didn't like him anymore. It was like a switch flipped. When he woke up, he got a call from me saying that this wouldn't work out. We had a long conversation that basically turned into him being defensive. In the end, I was firm. I also sent a text to his sister along the lines of, if you've got questions, ask your brother. Before I blocked her, of course. It's kind of shitty that I lost my best friend and my boyfriend, but on the bright side, at least it wasn't cheating and they just suck. Thank you everyone for the advice and hopefully I find a better man with a better family. And there was lots of people like giving advice to OP about how their allergy can change over time, but he knew all this time, allowed his girlfriend to keep coming to these meals where she was basically poisoning OP. And then he was just like, how come you're freaking out over this? What are you freaking out about my mum for? Holy shit. I can't help but think about his future relationships. You know, I'm not sympathizing with him at all. And just think about, he's got this mum in the background and he's going to be constantly trying to control his relationships. Ugh. Can you just imagine? It just makes my skin crawl. But absolutely the right decision by OP there. Go live your best life. Much love to you. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from Burrito, who says, my 32 male girlfriend, 31 female, doesn't want me as a wedding date. Backstory. My girlfriend and I went out for the first time about 10 months ago. I hadn't realized then, but she'd just gotten out of a long and very serious relationship, basically without any warning. She was shocked, hurting, confused, and I think just looking for a fun, casual night. I suppose we hit it off way better than expected and started seeing each other pretty consistently. She was clear she wasn't ready to jump into anything too quickly, but soon enough we're essentially boyfriend and girlfriend, going out 1 to 2 times a week, texting every single day, and as far as I know, not seeing other people. Around the holidays I met her family, and although we really got it off, I think it freaked her out a bit. She continued to text daily, but barely. She didn't want to come over and made excuses to not go out. After a month we saw each other finally, and things went back to the way they were. In May, a similar thing happened and we actually stopped talking for a week. After that week, she reached out and we talked and went out. While out to dinner, she and I both acknowledged how hard it was to not talk to each other, how we felt, and she asked me for us to be official. I felt the same and was elated to say yes. Since being official, she met my family. I spent some more times with hers and we did 2 mini trips together. I even joined her family vacation for a few days. Her family loves me and her little sister is getting married in about a month. It's my impression that the sister and her fiance, who also loves me, wanted me at the wedding and basically said things to me just assuming I was going. I know it can be a pain to invite guests later in the game, so it really means a lot. The issue is that my girlfriend hasn't invited me and has basically told me she doesn't really know if she wants me there. My girlfriend is the maid of honor and she and her sister are absolutely best friends. I guess she feels like with it not only being her sister, but also her best friend, there's a lot of pressure on her/us about having me there. She doesn't want the pictures and memories for the rest of her life to feature one guy she was dating at the time. By the time of the wedding, we'll have basically been seeing each other for a year, though maybe only made it official for 4 to 5 months. I don't feel like I'm just some guy and can't help but feel offended. I know this probably has to do with her last relationship ending abruptly and without warning. I think she's still learning how to trust again, but at the same time, it feels like she's telling me we weren't going to make it. If she chooses to not have me there, it becomes a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. I've tried to ask a little about it a few times, but she honestly gets so worked up and stressed out when it comes to this wedding, I don't want to mention it to her anymore. At this point, I haven't been officially told anything either way, invited or not. At what point should a significant other be invited as a date? Now for me in this, I'd want to know where I stand in this relationship, I think, because all the way through it sounded like there's a lot of bouncing around, a lot of hot and cold. Even though you said you've been official for 4 to 5 months, it doesn't sound like too much has really changed. Because I think if I was in that relationship, I'd be certainly thinking, how come I'm not getting that invite? Especially as you get on with the rest of the family and everyone seems to like you, etc. And there may be another reason behind it, but I certainly feel like I'd want to have that sit down talk face to face and really just have this out and find out where I am in here. But Nightov says, it seems like her last relationship is still clearly having an effect on her. I would encourage you to have a sit down talk without judgment and see whether overall anxiety is where it ends or if she really doesn't see it working out between you two. Otherwise, I think a year, official or otherwise, is more than enough to warrant an invite to the wedding. Personally, if at this point she wasn't taking the relationship seriously, I'd walk away. However, I'd encourage you to hear her out first. Lyric says, how long was the last relationship? If it was years and years, then I think you might have a little bit of a problem. I watched a guy go all in with my daughter for a year, completely, only to casually set her back down the instant his recent ex of several years snapped her fingers. People who are fresh out of a breakup really need to be alone. They need that for them, and they need it for you. You can take a gamble on a go slow, but it's a fallacy sometimes. She's had a lot of sorting out to do in her head, and now you're all mixed up in that. Not only do you run the risk of being the rebound distraction, but your beginnings will always be tied to his endings, even if it does work, and frankly, it sounds to me like she's feeling some pressure in her head. Stay out of the wedding, my friend. Back off as much as you can. She clearly needs a lot of space. This might not work no matter how you play it, because her head clearly isn't in the right place. Whatever chance you have is by giving her air. Grizzled Penguin says, my sister was in the exact situation your partner was in. It was my older brother's wedding and she'd been seeing a guy for close to a year, having been in 3/4 of a year relationship prior to that. She could have brought him, but she chose not to. She was a bridesmaid too and was in all the wedding photos and sat at the head table. A +1 would have sat at the cousin's table. Basically, her reason was that whilst she was committed at the time, she couldn't have known it would last in the long term. She's now happily married to the same guy, having now been together for 10 years, just having their first child. She doesn't regret the decision. It was about spending the day with our brother. Quirky Movie says it's hard to know why, but consider her sister may not want you in the photo since 4 to 5 months is still early in the relationship. Weddings have very, very expensive photos and videos made of them. People hope to have those for the rest of their marriage and their lives. She'll be seated with a party at the reception, during the dinner, toasts and any dances that may occur before people break off. You'll be alone most of the time. Maid of honor is sometimes wedding speak for wedding planner. She may take a ton of tasks on for her sister, so even when she's not doing bridal party stuff, she may still be running around handling things on behalf of the bride. She may not have time to make sure you are comfortable. Another commenter says you're missing the obvious. You're way more into her than she is into you. She is using you to get over and deal with the absence in her life of the love of her life. You ain't him, dude. You are the Mr. Right Now. And the closer, the more ingrained into her actual life you become, the more nervous and distant she becomes. You need to talk and maybe break up. Whole ton of people going down the rebound route here, but OP does update the post and says, I never expected to hear from so many people when I made my original post. Thank you to everyone who contributed. Wanted to give an update since there are a few people who had asked. The responses from everyone seemed to be pretty split down the middle. Half of you saw this as a huge red flag and suggested I end everything, while the other half thought it was okay and the best thing I could do for my girlfriend was just to support her. Being that everything else in our relationship seemed to be going well, I wasn't going to end things over this. My next decision was to also not approach the subject again. She'd gotten so stressed out last time that I didn't see how bringing it up again could help the situation. If she was still teetering on what to do, I wanted to let her make the decision on her own, not sway her based on what I wanted. People suggested I find a way to enjoy the weekend on my own or with friends. Well, what do you know? There's a big barbecue festival in the city my friend lives in. Everyone knows the best way to distract a man with swirling thoughts is through meat. Well, yesterday that all changed because she asked me to go as her date. She apologized for being so late about it, but she described going through what a lot of you had written. She is helping a lot with this wedding and is under an enormous amount of stress. She wasn't sure about bringing me out of fear that it would be another thing that she would have on her mind, where she wants all her focus on her sister. She says the way I've been supporting her lately made me realize she won't need to worry about me. Yes, I probably won't even get to talk to her until dinner. No, I won't know too many people since all her family I'm close with will be in one of the wedding parties. However, I'm important to her and she wants me there with her regardless. She apologized for the last conversation, making it sound like I was just some guy, that she was worried about having in pictures. She argued, jokingly, that it wasn't exactly how she said it, but neither of us can remember the exact verbiage anyway. She was also really appreciative that I hadn't been pressuring her or nagging her about this and let her come to her own decision. The fact that I gave her space on the subject yet continued to support her was what made her realize how much she wanted me there. So, thank you all. Almost all the responses I've received were genuine and much appreciated. I'm really happy with how things turned out and are going. Now I just need to figure out my suit situation. And unfortunately, OP did confirm in this that they're going to be missing the barbecue festival. I mean, I know which one I'd rather be attending. And there was many people congratulating OP on communicating, whilst, other people showing a bit of concern at the same time, saying, all the previous stuff did happen, like hot and cold and throughout the relationship. And some people mentioned that nothing has really been solved here. It's just sort of been pushed back slightly, and this might continue to happen further down the road. So to keep an eye out for that. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts. What do you think's happening? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being involved. Truly, it's absolutely amazing. And don't forget, at the very end of the video, there'll be a couple of playlists there for you that you can click on. They will automatically scroll through all the videos for you, which Margaret was doing yesterday when she was making this snake design whilst listening to the Bucket Woman saga, of course. Classic. Zero's doing some patchwork, of course. and Alice painting some Warhammer. I absolutely love to see it. Please keep those photos coming. Let me know what you're up to whilst you're listening. And thank you so much once again. And I will see you in the next one. Take care and much love to you, you cheeky so-and-so.